happened in the world of crypto? Well, here to talk with me about that is Pat Duffy from the Giving Block. Pat, welcome.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
It's great to have you here. Let's start, Pat, if you don't mind, by having you give us an overview of what the Giving Block is that you're the co-founder of.
Yeah, definitely. For the most part, we're focused on two big picture problems. One is nonprofits accepting cryptocurrency donations. From a technical standpoint, in 2017, my co-founder Alex got me trading crypto. We looked at accepting it, the nonprofit I was working at the time, and the solutions were either ones that no one was really touching, like a 10-foot pole, or nonprofits were getting into it but wasting like a ton of time and energy trying to manage different things. So the technical solution is that we're proud of. We're the main provider of solutions for charities to take crypto donations. And then the second piece is connecting crypto donors and nonprofits. So finding ways to bring those folks together, both from teaching charities how to fundraise crypto super effectively to building a crowdfunding platform for donors to support charities. We run the community campaign for the Giving Tuesday Foundation for crypto fundraising, an industry pledge for crypto donors to take they give 1% of their crypto holdings to charity, and all the way down the line, we built a lot of that connective tissue, bringing the donors and the nonprofits together.
Right. So talk a little bit about why people would want to even donate crypto in the first place.
Yeah, it's there's a couple big reasons. One is the selfish reason, which is also great that it exists. There's an incentive model from a tax standpoint. When you donate to a nonprofit in the US in particular, you get that write-off where you can say, I gave this money to a charity, and you save money on your taxes. When you donate property assets to a charity, which is usually stocks or cryptocurrency, you can also donate house, car, everything up to like a silo of corn. You get that write-off, but you also owe no capital gains taxes on the assets that you're giving. So the larger the donation and the more appreciated that asset is, the more of a reason people have to give property assets. The example being, you have $1 million in the bank, $1 million in Bitcoin. You can give the $1 million in the bank, charity gets the same amount, you get a write-off. If you give the Bitcoin, charity gets the same $1 million, you get a write-off, but plus you may have just erased, 150 grand or so in capital gains taxes. That's a pretty big incentive to give something other than cash.
Right. So logistically, how does it work? Are there nonprofits on your platform, or do you, me as the donor, designate the 501c3 that I want to give my crypto to, and you facilitate that?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's both. So we work with donor advised funds, which work more the way you described the second way, where you designate a nonprofit and they act as like a pass-through. Those donor advised funds, you can think like Fidelity Charitable, whoever else. You can give your money through a vehicle that has that tax status that gives you the tax incentive, and then they can disperse out to as many nonprofits as they like. We partner with donor advised funds to do that piece. But more often than not, like the vast majority, we have about 800 nonprofits as direct clients. We're setting them up to, one, accept cryptocurrency with a solution that can automatically convert it to US dollars, or if they're holding it, doing treasury management, we help with those other things in the back end. And then a lot of the process is setting them up as individuals so that they can fundraise off of their site via like a donate crypto page and actual campaigns, and then plug into the stuff that we have going on where they can actually identify crypto users as a donor demographic and sort of control their own destiny, dig into it and get their own slice of the pie versus sitting and waiting and hoping someone picks you.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, give me an example of some of the nonprofits that are on the platform. I know the world is filled with things, from everything from the United Way down to my local food pantry.
Yeah. So notable nonprofits, like you're saying, there are big ones and small ones. We work with them all across the spectrum. In terms of charities, as people think about them, straight up, we have United Way worldwide, Save the Children US, St. Jude, American Cancer Society, World Vision, some of the big kind of blue chippy notable groups. And then it goes all the way down the line. We work with a lot of universities, faith-based organizations, community foundations. There's all these different types of nonprofits. They all operate a little differently. But yeah, in terms of the notable brands, those would be some of the big ones.
Mm. So you recently launched something called the Cause Funds. What's that?
Yeah, this one's interesting. We say internally all the time, like a lot of our innovation has nothing to do with crypto. Like crypto is what we're, helping nonprofits accept. Most of the things we're helping them on are actually just like fundraising best practices or search engine optimizing a page for crypto. And one of those examples is for the platform we've developed. We, over time, noticed a lot of donors giving to 13, 14, 20 nonprofits at a time. They were pulling individual wallet addresses, sending all these individual transactions. And we just sort of realized that fundraising platforms sometimes would have something like a giving basket where you could select a bunch and give that in one transaction. But there was no like default setting where a donor could just pick a bundle or a bucket of nonprofits and give at the same time. That's what the cause funds do. It does it based around a cause. You can think about like food and water or human rights, any sort of bucket where someone's looking for nonprofits of a certain type. What we do there is we just remove the need to choose, right? Because that creates a lot of friction. We think it stops a lot of people from giving just through the burden of choice. And we also think it arbitrarily makes them pick one over the other when they might otherwise want to support a more general idea. Big donations in particular, we think that's important for. There's a lot of nonprofits with a lot of really good ideas. And we think this will work like an index fund in the same way where you invest in a bundle of stocks, you're more likely to outperform the market. About 95% of index funds outperform active traders. We think that's true for impact. And if you don't force people to pick individual nonprofits, you let them choose groups to give to, we think they'll actually solve problems more effectively and more quickly.
Talk also about the giving pledge that you created.
Yeah, this is part of like our mission behind the scenes, again, beyond the tech, where we're trying to build that connective tissue between donors and nonprofits. All of these things exist in the traditional philanthropic ecosystem. There are pledges where billionaires and companies give a certain amount of money to charity each year. There's a Giving Tuesday. There are awareness months for different causes. There are platforms to give to charities. The Giving Pledge is one of the things that we're focused on. So ours is the crypto Giving Pledge. Notable folks taking it are like Tony Hawk and Rainn Wilson, who's Dwight from The Office. There's some of the cool folks who've got nonprofits into crypto that we now have as clients.
Right.
And then a bunch of, crypto mega millionaires and billionaires and the companies associated, one being like FTX. Sam Bankman-Fried just bought the naming rights for the Miami Heat Stadium.
Yeah.
Those are some of the folks who are coming together, and they're pretty much committing at least 1% of their crypto to charity each year. If we did that as an industry, it'd be tens of billions of dollars going to charities each year.
Yeah.
So we're going to push toward that number.
It's great. So you mentioned donor advised funds a second ago, and talk about that.
Yeah, donor advised funds are kind of, it's interesting in terms of red tape. Like they move really slow. So like we're uniquely excited about the orgs, like universities and stuff that take forever. We thought, the Save the Children's of the world were a very long cycle trying to get totally tuned up. And then you get into universities and you're like, I can't believe how much more scrutiny and time it takes here. And then the donor advised funds, of course, giant financial institutions are blowing our mind yet again. Hopefully this is the final tier of how much time it takes to build one of these systems out. But the donor advised fund piece we think is really exciting, again, for the reason you said. It's really cool to not only meet the needs of nonprofits who are trying to get in front of a donor demographic, that's our bread and butter, but to allow these investors that are diversifying into crypto and across all of these traditional platforms to have a really easy way to send that to charities as they engage with their Fidelity Charitable, Schwab, everything across the board. We want to make that system really easy and attractive to those donors. It'll generate, we think, a ton of donation volume for charities. And the biggest donor advised fund that we have, we're not going live until Q1, so it remains unnamed. But they're doing a little over $500 million in crypto donations just this year, and they're forecasting more for the next year. So if you go across the industry, there's billions of dollars in crypto donations stored up in potential across the donor advised fund ecosystem. It's a lot of capital for the charities. And then on the individual fundraising side, like for this year in particular, for us, let's say, it's going to be somewhere between 100 and 150 million for the charities fundraising individually. So it gives you a sense of scale. There's money on the table for charities to go fundraise, control their own destiny, but there's a ton of untapped capital and traditional investors who are looking for that crypto way to give. We want to make that more convenient because there's going to be a lot of funding.
Yeah. So walk me through some more logistics. Let's say I own some tokens inside Coinbase. I own some in PayPal. I own some in MetaMask and Trust Wallet. Walk me through how I get some of that crypto into a charity through the Giving Block.
Yeah, the beauty of it is crypto is push transactions versus pull. So we don't have to build our solution in a way where we need direct integrations with every payment solution in order to accept the gifts. In the same way you get a QR code or a wallet address when you're sharing crypto in between individuals, we have a solution set up very similarly, except we use dynamic wallet addresses associated with exchange accounts. And it just serves a unique one up for each donor, protects the nonprofits' privacy. They get to choose then, how much they want to show folks money going into and out of certain accounts. And then donors also don't have to be able to see like one another's wallet balances. So like that's sort of the reason for the individual privacy on either side of it. But the transaction itself is super simple. They come in, they pick the crypto they want to give. Some nonprofits require donor information, other nonprofits accept private donations. And then on that final step, they'll be presented with a wallet address. You just copy and paste it into the to field, like you're sending a wire, and you send your crypto to a charity.
Sounds simple enough. So obviously the website, tell us viewers how they can locate you on the web.
Yeah, if you go to thegivingBlock.com, that's our website. That's also where the crowdfunding platform exists. We're just looking to check out all the nonprofits we're supporting, make a donation to one of those cause funds or the crypto adoption fund or an individual charity using crypto. Just thegivingBlock.com, you click the donate button there in the corner, and it'll take you to the platform piece. And then on that site, you can also take the crypto giving pledge or reach out to us for partnerships or information around stuff we're doing in the month of December.
Yeah. So we talked about crypto, but we didn't talk about NFTs. Care to talk about that?
Yeah, it's a neat ecosystem because people aren't donating the NFTs directly. Usually they're actually donating proceeds from the NFTs. So it creates a lot of confusion for the nonprofits. Some donors do give NFTs directly, but it's tougher to figure out like what it's actually worth at the time of transaction in terms of the appraisal process for a piece of art versus something that's traded on exchanges and whatnot. But yeah, the platforms, the artists, the studios, the traders, all of these different participants in that ecosystem are like one of the biggest growing crypto donor demographics. They're giving a lot more to charity just month over month. Right now, we're doing millions of dollars in donations from those demographics alone on a month by month basis.
So we covered a lot of ground about the company. Anything that we missed that you should mention, or anything that you've already mentioned that just bears repeating?
No, I think we kind of hit on it, but if you're an individual in crypto, it's important to note that donating crypto is not spending crypto. It's a really important, there's hodl culture in the crypto community, of course. No one wants to like reduce their positions or their bags. That's something we're trying to educate on constantly. We work with TaxBit and tax software companies, Friedman and other accounting firms. The main thing for crypto donors to know is, again, you can donate crypto to a charity. You don't owe taxes on it then, and then just take the cash you were going to give to buy more crypto if you'd like, and you end up with the same position, but the cost basis moves up to today's price.
Right.
So it's important to know that like people can donate crypto without losing crypto, and you tend to actually be able to improve your overall position by giving a property asset versus US dollars. A lot of really wealthy people who have family foundations and whatnot, like they know these sorts of maneuvers, but there's a lot of really young folks making money for the first time who don't know that it's a smart move from a personal standpoint. The second piece donors should know is it's really good for crypto adoption. Like when you see St. Jude, American Cancer Society, and all these other folks getting into it, like it drives folks like my parents into crypto. People start getting into it. They get more comfortable with the idea. It's why the exchanges and other companies want to partner with us. Donating crypto and talking about the fact you're donating crypto, we love and love to see it. So just do more of that and spread the word. It really is a good look for the industry. And I guess one point to that as a detraction though, or not a detraction, but an off-ramp. Fidelity Charitable released a report, I think it was last week, talking about how crypto donors or users rather on their platform, about 40% more charitable than stock traders, which is a dramatic margin. I can pull the report and share it with you all too if there's like a description piece, but super exciting to see. Just like, I guess, keep it up, right? Like it's an incredibly generous demographic of people. They're giving a ton to charity. It's making a difference not only for the charities, but again, for the rate of crypto adoption and mainstream acceptance. So like keep doing what you're doing. And if you're a charity and you're scared, I guess, of cryptocurrency, I would just say read about it. It's the best performing asset class the last 10 years. It's probably time that you at least take a look at it. If you get to a no and you think it's a little early, you got some other priorities, totally fine. I would just say now at this point. It's time to take a look and make a call as to whether or not it's something your organization needs to jump in on.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, I'm curious if there's something that happened in the world of crypto over the past week or so that caught your attention that viewers need to know about.
Yeah, I mean, crypto.com buying the Staples Center in LA.
Right.
Like, we love seeing those. I put a LinkedIn post up also, which sounds lame even in and of itself. That it's like the only social media I use now. But just putting that up, like FTX just bought Miami Heat Stadium, and then crypto.com bought the Staples Center. This is the sort of thing where it's just like when people say crypto is a fad, it's like a great exclamation point on the no that they should be hearing when they're asking that question.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff definitely gives me hope for the future in terms of mainstream adoption of it. It's now close to a $3 trillion asset class and super untapped in terms of mainstream adoption. So makes me feel good about the road out from here to getting more regular folks into the tech.
Yeah, I'd say one thing that caught my attention is that the new mayor of New York said that he would take his first 3 paychecks in Bitcoin, which is kind of interesting that he's willing to do that. The other is there's also been a lot of interest around NFTs with respect to, I guess, everything, right? From sports to mortgages to it just seems there's no end to what all the developments in the world of NFT. Any thoughts about that?
No, I think it's exciting. It's really cool that you can actually trade artwork online. It's not just art, even with NFTs. There's other types of non-fungible tokens. But you can do that now in a way with an immutable ledger using blockchain. It's just super exciting. There's a lot of people who create memes and interesting internet art who really haven't had an opportunity. There's just such limited scale, or I should say venues for artists to really get out there and be appreciated for the stuff they're producing. I think it's my brother is a professional artist, for example. So like I know that he does storyboarding, a lot of amazing concept art. He's done stuff for Disney even, but he still, gets by into seasonal work on stuff. I think it's really going to open up a new era for artists to be able to make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And I think that ecosystem is going to drive a lot of creativity, which is, I think, good for everybody.
Yeah. So a lot of our viewers are always interested in what kind of crypto you think is interesting for them to look at. Any thoughts about what's on your radar in terms of what's new and different out there?
I'm unfortunately not the guy. I mean, you shouldn't take financial advice from me. I average into Bitcoin and Ethereum with automated purchases, and I just don't even look at it. Like, that's been my financial strategy. Every time I try to trade actively, I'm wrong, and I always lose money. I mean, there's lots of cool altcoins now that are popping off. The top 10, top 20 is now changing pretty consistently. So I would say let's all just hope that the bull market holds, and we have a good December. And don't overthink it, I guess.